Part of the reason we do the trigonometry is, of course, to solve word problems. So we're going to be discussing some word problems that could be solved using the SOHCAHTOA, so the basic sine ratios, the sine, cosine, and the tangent ratios. First, we have a concept, though. It's called angle of elevation. So let's say we have, I'm not going to be able to draw this. So we have a balloon floating in the air, and we have some person on the ground. So really it's a person, but we're going to pretend that they're on the ground. And what we know is we have, this person is looking at the balloon over there. We're going to drop a 90-degree angle down like this. And this angle here, the angle between the horizontal line and the line of sight. So between the horizontal and the line of sight, we're going to call this one over here, this is going to be the angle of elevation. So again, it's not this angle over here or some other angle, it's between the horizontal and the line of sight. And that angle over there is the angle of elevation. Now, similarly, if you want to know, and again, that point's going to represent kind of a dude, and we're going to try drawing the balloon again. And we're going to have our line of sight. Okay, so now we're going to have a different angle. Now we're looking, so this was the one before. This one was from the perspective of the person on the ground. So from the person on the ground, there was the angle of elevation up to the balloon. What we want here is the angle of depression from the balloon to the dude. And that one's a little bit different. That one over here, we're actually going to knock off a horizontal line. So this is a horizontal line. So again, we have our line of sight. And this over here is a horizontal line. And the angle, it's going to be this angle over here. This angle over here, which notice is not this one over here. This angle over here is going to be what we're going to call an angle of depression, which is not an angle of sadness, it's an angle of going downish. Right, and technically we could do something like that over here. Now it does turn out that the angle of depression from the balloon to the guy is equal to the angle of elevation from the guy to the balloon in different triangles, of course. And that's because these two lines are parallel, so because of alternating angles, this angle and this angle are the same. But that's the angle of depression. The angle of depression is always between the horizontal and the line of sight and downwards. So what are we going to be doing with these things? We're going to be solving examples. And then what we're going to do is we're going to solve, generally we're going to draw a diagram. So I've pre-written these examples so you don't have to watch me writing them out. So you could pause the video and write out the example if you want. So Mackenzie's out flying a kite. The string is 35 meters long and it makes an angle of 50 degrees with the ground. How high is the kite above the ground? So we're going to draw a triangle. Now what we know is Mackenzie's on the ground. The kite's over here. I was going to draw a kite maybe, right, so the picture is she's flying a kite, right? So that's the string and there's the kite and there's Mackenzie on the ground. So there's Mackenzie, there's the kite, and there's an altitude on the ground. And now we start putting things on. So the string is 35 meters long. So the string is 35 meters long. So this is the kite string, so this is going to be 35. We don't have to put units on these diagrams. It makes an angle of 50 degrees with the ground. There's the ground, there's the kite string. So this is 50 degrees. How high is the kite above the ground? So that's the thing we're trying to find out. So we're going to call that x. Once we've done that, it's now just a straightforward problem. So this is our angle, and we know that this is going to be the hypotenuse, this is going to be the opposite, this is going to be the adjacent. And then what we have is, we know that, so we have the opposite and hypotenuse, so it's going to be the sine. So sine of 50 equals x over 35. Multiply both sides by 35, we get 35 sine 50 equals x. We put it into the calculator. Since this is our first time doing it, we're going to quickly check that sine of 30 is 0.5. Oh, it is. That means we're doing well. So then 35 times the sine of 50 is 26.8. Now this is a word problem, so we're not quite done. What we have to do now is we have to say, therefore, the kite is 26.8, and we have to put the units, and so it was meters. So 26.8 meters above the ground, and that is our answer.